Veterans and active members of the military may acquire mental health conditions that negatively influence the lives of themselves and their families, but their sacrifice is often underappreciated by society despite the patriotism and the respect that society has for its soldiers.
By a show of hands, how many of you have family or know someone who has served or is serving in the military? The effects of military coincide with mental health of our soldiers.
In 2000, 1.64 million troops were deployed to Afghanistan and Iraq. Of those returning, 18.5% suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, and 19.5% reported experiencing a traumatic brain injury, or TBI.
Emotional wellness is having a positive attitude, high self-esteem, a strong sense of self, and the ability to recognize and share a wide range of feelings with others in a constructive way.
Coming in my house and hurting my family, but I'm always on guard and I'm ready for anything at any time. I used to be able to determine combat zone and home, but now to me, everything's combat zone. And that's because of the PTSD. And if you got it, you'll understand exactly what I'm saying. I joined the Army in May of '96. I've been in 16 years come May, and I've been on 4 deployments. Well, the camp that I was at, it was called Combat Outpost Tonica Miracle. We were down in the Garnhall Valley, surrounded by mountains, and over to the left-hand side of us where I was, my motor pool was at, it was Pakistan. And every day was a fight for survival. You just didn't know when it was coming, but you knew it was coming. 1st of May, I got a briefing around 11:30 on what was gonna happen that following morning. I came back, briefed my soldiers, prepared for battle. Our main objective was to man the front gate. Anybody come through that front gate, they were dead. All of a sudden,
A main PTSD trigger is past trauma, such as war for veterans.
Only half of these people receive treatment, and the worst part of all, of those who choose to receive treatment, roughly half receive minimally adequate care. What that means is that for the soldiers who want to change, can't, because the care they are getting isn't very good. The soldiers that risk their lives for us don't get the help they deserve.
In 2012, the Army suicide rate hit an all-time high. Nationwide, 20 veterans commit suicide every day. According to Military Times, from 1979 to 2014, over 50 million veterans have committed suicide. At what number do we step in and help this major problem?
CNN reported that 14% of soldiers have considered suicide, 5.3% plan to, and 2.4% made 1 or more attempts. If these men and women are willing to risk their lives for their country, don't you think the country should help provide for them when they are done?
PTSD impacts the spirit, soul, mind, emotions, memories, and body.
It is a mental condition caused by a traumatic event. Post-traumatic stress syndrome affects many people, but it is more commonly found in men and women who have served on the front lines during combat. According to the Department of Veteran Affairs, many soldiers return from war scared, angry, and confused over events they have witnessed, and if the feelings aren't treated immediately, PTSD can disrupt lives. Psychologists say the stress of war can be so great and the emotions so intense that changes in the brain can occur, causing the military personnel to relive terrible events, avoid their loved ones, become completely numb to emotion, or always seem anxious. These symptoms can lead to drinking and drug problems, depression, employment issues, as well as divorce and domestic violence. The VA recommends that if you know someone who's suffering from PTSD, have them seek professional help. There are good treatments for PTSD, especially when it is diagnosed at an early stage.
These are just some of the signs and symptoms of PTSD. There are many more.
NPR tells the story of a soldier named James. James suffered from PTSD and as a result was depressed and contemplated suicide. James did the right thing and told the Army his story so they could help other vets. The Army tried to dismiss him from the service. James was also going to a therapist within the Army. He was mistreated by them and recorded a session to prove this. Quote, they tried to convince him his experience in Iraq were not too traumatic, and even seemed to ignore him when he talks about wanting to commit suicide, unquote. After this, the Army did a full investigation. James wanted help but couldn't get it from the same place he suffered from, the military.
A few years ago in Beverly, there was a Rita alum who was serving in the military. He had been home for a while and was about to be shipped back off to war. The night before, he walked in front of a train, taking his own life. If a soldier would rather die than have to serve again, what does this say about the effects of war? Receiving help could have saved this young man's life.
According to a Harvard Medical School professor, quote, the rate of major depression is 5 times as high among soldiers as civilians. Intermittent explosive disorder, 6 times as high. And post-traumatic stress disorder, nearly 15 times as high. End quote.
In recent years, the Department of Veteran Affairs has provided 5,300 mental health providers to support the veterans when coming home. Veterans are getting help, but we need to work together to help many more veterans. They protected us, and now it is our time to protect them.
You may be thinking, how can I help? There are many things you can do, such as giving veterans a ride. Disabled American Veterans offers veterans free rides to doctor appointments, and you can volunteer to drive. You can sponsor a companion dog. These dogs help people with PTSD and have a great impact on the soldier's life. Also, if you know someone suffering from PTSD, the VA offers a PTSD coach online. They'll help veterans manage their symptoms.
The military has a direct link to the mental health of soldiers. The people who risk their lives for our freedom are often neglected and their invisible wounds are ignored. It is our duty to help them live a happy and healthy life after all they have done for us.